My family pushed me out into the freezing cold on my father's birthday. But when my helicopter landed, they saw who really held the power. I'm Mackenzie Reynolds, 34, founder of Nexus Technologies, a billion-dollar company. My father's 60th birthday, at Le Bernardin, the most luxurious restaurant, promised to be different. I hoped they would see me, but they didn't. My brother Jason smirked. Outdoor seats are for failures. I sat alone on the terrace, watching them laugh inside. They didn't know I was about to take off, literally. I grew up in Wellesley, where success was measured by Ivy League names and investment portfolios. My father, Harold Reynolds, a banking mogul, defined success as Harvard, finance, big houses. My mother, Elizabeth, played the perfect wife, hosting galas, avoiding conflict. Jason, my brother, was my father's replica. Debate team, banking internships, Harvard. I was different. At 12, I took apart computers, coded a blooming flower for my mom's screen. Dad called it a hobby. A real career is in finance or law, he said. At school, Jason was class president. I built websites for local businesses. I got into MIT Dean's List every semester. But at home, I was invisible. Dad bragged about Jason, called my MIT a good tech school. After graduation, Jason became vice president at Dad's bank. I turned down 6 job offers and co-founded Nexus Technologies with my roommate. Startup games, Jason laughed. You'll enter the real world soon. In the early years, I lived in a tiny apartment, ate instant noodles, worked 18-hour days. Jason flaunted his Rolex, his Porsche, his Boston condo. I talked about our new software. They yawned. Some app thing, Dad mumbled. Every holiday, I endured it. Jason's promotions got toasts. My first $1 million in revenue? Is it sustainable? They asked. Jason sneered. Tech's a bubble. When it bursts, you'll end up at the bank's front desk. 5 years later, Nexus had 200 employees, offices in 3 cities, a Forbes feature. But at Thanksgiving, Dad still asked, "How's your little company doing?" Jason grinned. Just lucky. Ride the wave, Mac. I decided Dad's birthday would be the last chance. I'd go, be kind, leave the door open for change. If not, I'd stop chasing their approval. The invitation came. Cream paper, gold letters. Mom wrote my name by hand. Le Bernardin, black tie optional. My friend Stephanie, COO of Nexus, warned, "Don't go. They hurt you." This is his 60th, I said. Maybe it's different. That same week, Nexus was negotiating to acquire DataSphere, a $1.2 billion deal, our biggest yet. Rival tech giant jumped in, turned it into a bidding war. I had a plan. Valentino dress, rare book for Dad, and a guarded heart. The day before the party, I flew to Boston. Stayed at 4 Seasons, not at my parents'. Mom called. "Your dad's so happy you're coming. Jason and Amanda will be there. They're expecting." Another milestone Jason reached first. I reviewed DataSphere documents in my hotel suite. A text from CFO Thomas. Tech giant contacted DataSphere. We need to counter. I called immediately. An hour of strategy. The fight was heating up. Emergency board meeting on Sunday. I told myself, I can manage this. The party's Saturday night, the board meets Sunday. Morning of the party, a flood of messages. DataSphere's CEO requested a face-to-face. Tech giant raised their offer to $1.4 billion. Deadline, midnight. I did my makeup, looked in the mirror. You're the CEO of a billion-dollar company. No one can take that from you. Le Bernardin was stunning. The doorman smiled. Ms. Reynolds, I read about you on Business Insider. I smiled back. At least someone noticed me. But the maitre d' guided me through a side door to the terrace, a small table hidden in a corner, plants blocking the view. My family's over there. I pointed to the main table, Jason hugging his wife, Mom smiling, Dad hosting. Strict instructions, Ms. Reynolds, he stammered. You're seated out here. Jason came out, champagne in hand. Mac, glad you came. No more seats. You get it, right? Why am I out here? I asked, voice firm. He sipped. Main tables for the important people. Out here, suits, failures. Jason's words cut like a knife, but I kept my voice calm. This is Dad's birthday. I should be in there, with family. Mom appeared, eyes guilty. Mackenzie, I'm sorry about the seat. I told your father, but he had it all arranged. She air-kissed my cheek, as always. apologizing without fixing anything. "It's okay, Mom," I lied. "I'm used to being the extra." She turned pale, promised to come out after appetizers. We both knew she wouldn't. The waiter looked uneasy. "What would you like, ma'am?" "The most expensive Bordeaux," I said. "If I was exiled here, I'd at least make Dad's bill heavier." I sat looking through the glass. Dad stood raising his glass. Jason on his right, the crown prince. Mom smiling, perfect as a stage play. I sipped my $900 wine, ate fish, and watched my family act out a happy play that didn't include me. Mom glanced out, guilt in her eyes, but didn't leave her seat. One of Dad's colleagues asked about me. Dad waved it off like I was a bothersome topic. The terrace was quiet, just two other couples, glancing at me curiously, wondering what I'd done wrong. I thought of leaving. The DataSphere deal needed me, but pride held me back. Leaving would mean Jason won. I stayed, kept my dignity, ate dessert, dark chocolate, bitter like my mood. Then the phone buzzed nonstop. Messages from Thomas, Sarah, 4 missed calls. First message, tech giant bids $1.4 billion for DataSphere, urgent. DataSphere's board was meeting at 9 p.m., wanted our offer before midnight. I stepped to the terrace corner, called Thomas. "What's happening?" "They're playing hard," he said. "All cash, no conditions. But our integration plan is far better." "Their CEO wants to meet me," I said. "When?" 11 p.m., Four Seasons. "We need a formal proposal in 2 hours." I checked the time, 8:42 p.m. This deal meant everything. Perfect integration, market expansion. Lose it and we fall behind. The rival leaps ahead. "I'll be there," I said. "Draft the offer. $1.5 billion, profit-sharing structure like we discussed." Jason came out frowning. "Taking calls during Dad's party? Addicted to work?" "Urgent matter," I said, putting my phone away. He sneered. "Your little company's always urgent." Dad and Mom followed him out. Dad snapped, "Working during my birthday party?" "I've got a $1.5 billion acquisition deal," I replied. Dad waved dismissively. "Startups are always a mess. Banks work regular hours." Mom stepped in. "Maybe her work is important, Harold." "More important than my birthday?" he barked. "Your career lacks stability, Mackenzie." Phone buzzed. Message from Sarah. "DataSphere CEO wants you at the table." It was clear. One side saw me as an embarrassing secret. The other, a billion-dollar company, a team counting on me. "I have to go." I stood up, grabbing my purse. "Leave?" Dad scowled. "During my party?" "I'm on the edge, right where you put me," I said. "And I need to be present for the industry's biggest acquisition." Jason scoffed. "So dramatic, Mac." "I'm sorry, Dad," I said. "Happy birthday." I texted the pilot, Lucas. "Need chopper ASAP, Le Bernardin emergency meeting." He replied instantly. 20 minutes, Central Park, 5 blocks away." I paused at the terrace door, looked back. Dad turned away, greeting guests. Mom hesitated but didn't call me. Jason whispered something to her. I walked through the restaurant, breathed in the summer night air, and for the first time felt free. My team, the ones who saw my worth, were waiting. At the edge of Central Park, the sound of rotors filled the air. People pointed. The Nexus helicopter, glowing blue logo, descended. I smiled to myself. If you want to stand out, nothing beats this. But it wasn't for show. I needed to get to the meeting. Phone rang. "Jason." "What are you doing? Is that your company's helicopter?" "Taking me to a billion-dollar meeting," I replied. Dad's party was just a coincidence. He stammered. "Everyone's staring at the window." I walked to the helicopter. Security held back the crowd. Thomas and Sarah were on board, shouting over the engine. "Got the materials ready." I strapped in. Dad called. I put him on speaker. "Mackenzie, what is this?" he barked. "Emergency meeting, Dad. Buying DataSphere. $1.5 billion. Tech giant is bidding too." Silence. He muttered, "DataSphere? Martin Phillips's company?" "Yes. You know him," I said. "I didn't know your company was that big," he said, voice mixed. The helicopter lifted off. Manhattan sparkled below. "I know," I replied. "You never asked." "Happy birthday," I said and hung up. Thomas clapped. "Best escape ever." Sarah opened her laptop. Datasphere's lawyers sent new terms. We flew over the city. I watched Le Bernardin fade, the empty terrace table where I'd been exiled. Freedom. I no longer needed their validation. The helicopter landed on the office rooftop, 10:15 p.m. Thomas handed over the documents. Tech giant raised to $1.6 billion, all cash. Sarah opened the spreadsheet. If we match $1.6 billion, we'll need additional bank guarantees. The meeting room turned into a war room. Screens showing financial models, integration plans. The team welcomed me with applause. Save it for after the deal, I smiled. We ran the numbers. $1.65 billion, fast payout with roles secured for Datasphere's team. 11:30 p.m., Martin Phillips, Datasphere's CEO, arrived. "Mackenzie, thank you for skipping your family event," he said, shaking my hand. "This partnership matters," I replied. My team presented flawlessly. A unified vision, not just an acquisition. Tech giant offered $1.6 billion, all cash, Martin said. "They're buying to eliminate competition," I replied. "We're partnering to build something bigger." I showed the roadmap. Datasphere will be the foundation of our new platform. Your engineers will keep innovating with our resources and customer base. Negotiations lasted until 2 a.m. We tackled every detail: technical, organizational, financial. At 3:17 a.m., Martin shook hands. "Deal's done." The room erupted, restrained but victorious. I stepped onto the balcony, looked at the sleeping city. My phone was full of family messages. I ignored them. In the morning, we announced the merger. Headlines exploded. Nexus CEO leaves family party by helicopter, seals billion-dollar deal. Nexus stock jumped 12%. Congratulations from partners and investors. Mom texted, "We need to talk. Your father's shaken but confused." I returned to the hotel, exhausted. Stephanie called. "You did it, professionally and personally." "I didn't mean to show off," I said. "You changed the game," she laughed. I slept, no longer chasing validation. I had chosen myself. 2 weeks later, I kept my distance. Mom called often, sounding worried. Jason texted, half apology, half excuse. Dad sent a stiff email. "Congratulations on the achievement." I replied briefly, not rushing reconciliation. On Friday, Mom invited me to lunch. She dressed simply, looked nervous. "I owe you an apology," she said. "I knew the seat was wrong, but I avoid conflict." I nodded, letting her continue. "When the helicopter arrived, I saw you, not the odd one out, but a powerful leader." She held my hand. "I want to understand you, your work." We talked honestly for the first time, about Nexus, the deal, my life. "Your father's shocked," she said. "He looked up Nexus, did an X-Ace,